Hi, my name is Trenton. I'm here to talk about peer-to-peer sharing and piracy. I don't think there's a single person in this room who hasn't downloaded music before or shared music with a friend. My claim today is that peer-to-peer sharing is beneficial to the music industry. Most people don't think this is a topic of discussion anymore, but since about 2001, there hasn't been reliable evidence that peer-to-peer sharing is negatively affecting the music industry. So first, we need to establish a difference between piracy and peer-to-peer sharing. Piracy is the for-profit physical reproduction of copyrighted material for sale, like buying a bootleg DVD. That's piracy, not peer-to-peer sharing. Peer-to-peer sharing is me sharing my music with a friend, although that music is copyrighted, be it in a physical or digital form, but it's not for profit. There's a difference there. So to explain that peer-to-peer sharing is beneficial to the music industry, we need to first dispel our prejudice against peer-to-peer sharing based on events in the past. In the past, peer-to-peer sharing was targeted as the main culprit affecting the music industry decline. However, record sales did not decline until after Napster, the biggest peer-to-peer software client, was shut down. George Zeman, a political watchdog on this topic, gives information saying that Napster started in 1999 and shut down in 2001. The RIAA, which is the main opponent of peer-to-peer sharing, their charts show steady growth of CD sales until they declined by 35.9 million units in from 2000 to 2001. So we acknowledge that there is a decline in CD sales, but we don't know if it truly was internet piracy. To back this up, the music industry fails to acknowledge the entire U.S. market went down in 2001 because of the 9/11 attacks. Of course, record sales are down. Everything's down right now. So, dispelling those, bringing it up for topic and dispelling those prejudices, we can move into today. How is peer-to-peer sharing helping us today? Peer-to-peer sharing is currently providing higher revenues for record companies. As in a reactionary business model, artists are selling more live performance tickets and merchandise. This is what their businesses are based off of now, not their music. George Zeman also points out that record companies cut their inventory by 25% and only lost 4% in profits in reaction to the peer-to-peer scares, even though the economy is at rock bottom. So this means record companies are actually making more money per release because they're releasing less artists, but those individual artists are actually making more money than they ever used to, compensating for that. You cut your stock 25%, you only lose 4% profit. You're actually doing pretty good, it sounds like. So, moving into the future, peer-to-peer sharing has opened up new economic streams for us, which is beneficial to the music industry. The music industry is an archaic model, and it needs to be renovated, as many people claim. The first service it opened up, it still exists today, it's one of our favorites, is the digital download service like iTunes. Glenn Peoples, a industry news reporter for Billboard magazine in the Billboard section, reported that iTunes made $6.1 billion last year. That's capturing everybody that downloaded music for the convenience of it. Next, you get music streaming services like Pandora Radio and Spotify. Malik, one of the reporters for Eagle magazine, reported that Spotify in its first year made $71 million from subscribers who just wanted to listen to music without advertisements. Antti Vilponen is a reporter in Europe where Spotify originated and has existed longer, and Spotify has turned into their second largest source of digital music revenue for record labels. So this is a critical part of how record labels are making money in Europe. The last new economic stream opened up by peer-to-peer sharing is advertising space on copyrighted content. This is anything from an ad before, after a YouTube video, text displayed on it, or commercials in between an online radio service such as like Spotify or Pandora. Last year, Malik reported that Spotify made $28 million in America from advertising. This is money put into the music industry by people that would otherwise not pay for music. These are people who are not subscribing, they don't pay a dime, and yet there's $28 million going back into the music industry, which in an American term, since this is such a young service, this shows great promise for us in the future. So after explaining how peer-to-peer sharing did not damage us in the past, is helping us now with selling more tickets and merchandise and making more money per release, as well as exploring how it's opened up future business models and revenues, I hope you'll agree with me when I say that peer-to-peer sharing is beneficial to the music industry. Thank you. Dude, I was gonna say, I'm feeling someone down with music right now in this room.
Okay, the claim's clear. The secondary issues need to be a little bit sharper. I didn't really hear a lot of data being presented on the particulars of the music industry. There was some information about, for instance, revenue streams shifting to live performance, but I didn't hear any data on that. You mentioned that they have fewer artists, so that seems to be an inference that that's better for profitability of the music companies. I'm not so sure that the artists feel all that enthusiastic about it, and there ought to be an explanation about why the music industry should be the one that we are looking at and making sure that they are covered in regard to that sort of thing. The advertising revenues that you talk about on the last example with Spotify, I think are interesting, but they need to be put into a larger context. $28 million. Hey, you and me, that's a lot of money, but you just mentioned that it's a $6 billion industry for digital downloads on iTunes. If you look at the whole music industry, let's say it's double that, including live performance and everything, $28 million seems like a relatively small revenue stream. And the idea that this is going to make up for either lost sales or some other revenue streams that have disappeared over the years, I think is a little iffy. All right, we need to rush on because we have one more speaker that I need to get to. Chris?